there guys, and welcome back. It's always a pleasure to have you guys join me on the channel as we talk some more movie news. So in this video, we're going to be discussing the Rotten Tomatoes score for the live action remake of Snow White coming from Disney. A few days ago, I did talk about the initial reactions here on the channel, and they were overwhelmingly positive. Some people were even saying that it's the best live action remake that Disney has made so far. So when I came over to Rotten Tomatoes, I was quite shocked the fact that this movie is currently sitting at a 47%. I would have thought, based on those initial reactions, that the movie would at least have a fresh rating, which is 60% or higher. So without further ado, let's get into it, let's break it down, and let's start reading these top critic reviews and seeing what people are saying about this movie. So, like I already said, 47% from 97 reviews so far. More reviews could come in over the next few days, and that score of 47% could fluctuate up and down. I don't think it's going to move massively. It could move up and down, you know, up to 5% down or 5% up possibly. We'll have to wait and see if that does in fact change. But going over here to the top critics, let's start off here from the Boston Globe. So, I had high hopes that Snow White would make me happy. Instead, this dopey remake made me sleepy and grumpy. I love that writing, like the playful writing on the characters there. I think that's pretty fun, to be honest. So, from the Irish Times, the most distracting flaws are rooted in the problematic recreation of the animated material. The permanent magic hour lighting is hard to look at. Worst of all, the decision to cartoonize the dwarfs alongside human actors is hugely problematic. Don't even get me started on the fact that they sidelined real dwarf actors for CGI dwarfs, sorry. Absolutely the most ridiculous decision I've ever heard in Hollywood. Yeah, I'm not going to start on a rant. But anyway, moving on to the Los Angeles Times, a fascinating case study in today's impossible contradictions, a magic mirror reflecting the tension of current times. From Roger Ebert, some parts of the film work better than others, but none of it has the sweetness and imagination of the animated feature. This Snow White is not the fairest of them all, it's just, well, fair. See, this person's just basically saying the movie's meh, it's never good, it's not good, not bad, it's kind of just somewhere in the middle. And I think that's kind of what a lot of these reviews are going to be saying, to be honest, especially sitting at a 47%. So, from here, you guys, a visually stunning, thematically rich adaptation that successfully modernizes the classic tale. This is a fairy tale for a new generation, one that reminds us all of the power of courage, kindness, and believing in a better future. So this person actually really enjoyed the film. That's great to see. From the Toronto Star, there's nothing magical in Mark Webb's movie, but it nevertheless feels uncanny. Spending $250 million to make a film in which absolutely nothing works is a kind of dark art in and of itself. $250 million on this movie. It's mind-blowing how much money they're spending on these movies. It's just ridiculous. From The Independent in the UK, with Snow White, they finesse their formula, do the bare minimum to make a film, then simply slap a bunch of cutesy CGI animals all over it and hope no one notices. So they're distracting people, you know, don't look at this, look at these cute animals over here. This will kind of distract people, almost kind of like a hypnotist trying to hypnotize people. So, from the BBC, I should say. The story is cluttered, the tone is muddled, and the pacing is off. Again, that doesn't make the film a disaster. In some ways, the identity crisis is what makes it worth seeing. And that's a positive review. The fact that they're saying the tone is muddled, the pacing is off, it doesn't make the film a disaster. The identity crisis is what makes it worth seeing. That's a positive review. I have no idea how that's positive. From the New York Post, the timeless classic, a groundbreaking achievement for animation, has been turned into another pointless, awkward live-action automation that vanishes from your mind the second it's over. That pretty much sums up most of the Disney live-action remakes we're getting. It's kind of just garbage for the mind. After it's finished, you walk out of the cinema and you literally forget the thing even exists, like 10 seconds after you've seen it. Okay, moving on to the Rolling Stone. This Snow White may not be the worst live-action adaptation of an animated touchstone, though it's a strong contender for its blandest. The movie does earn points as a bedtime story, however, because it will definitely put you to sleep. From the San Francisco Chronicle, efficiently directed by Mark Webb with an excellent production design by Cave Quinn, Snow White is everything you need it to be and nothing more. From the Seattle Times, the end result is neither good enough to be a classic or bad enough to be a guilty pleasure, it's just there. It's just something that exists. It feels like Disney just made it just to put it on their streaming service. That's basically what it's for. You know, we'll put it in cinema for a few weeks and then we'll just dump it on Disney Plus and it'll be another thing that people can consume on Disney Plus. And that's basically what it feels like. So from the New York magazine Vulture, the most pragmatic aspect of Snow White is that it's plasticky set design and gift shop tacky costuming. It already looks like it takes place in a theme park, no adaptations necessary. Well, I mean, we've all seen the behind-the-scenes shots of what the costumes look like, and they look so bad. But they're saying that this basically looks like you're at a theme park with a kind of a replicated feel. And it's just kind of crazy. From The Consequence, at the end of the day, the best parts of Snow White are the parts that feel genuinely real and authentic. If only there were more of those, and less screen time spent dancing in the realm of mind-breaking absurdity. From Variety, the chirpy, vivacious, just romantic enough to get by Snow White proves to be an exception to the rule. Just romantic enough to get by. Again, people just saying it does just enough to get by what it needs to, and it's neither here nor there. It's just kind of exists, but it does enough just to kind of exist for some reason. Yeah, so it's just kind of meh across the board, really. Newsday, decades from now, will anyone remember what Disney was even attempting to do here? Probably not, but I'll bet the 1937 original will still hold up. Man, can you believe that original animated from 1937? It's still as magical today as it was when it first came out. And that's just a testament to the animation style and what these people were able to achieve with that original movie. So, like so much contemporary fantasy cinema, Snow White exists in a weirdly artificial netherworld, and not just where the seven dudes are concerned. From the Daily Telegraph, Andrew Burnap as the handsome not prince, Jonathan proves a real comedic asset. Zegler does not, but her vocals regularly astound. Gadot excels on neither of those fronts, but she at least looks the part. I mean, Gal Gadot could look brilliant in anything. You could strap a welder's mask to her face and, you know, whatever, and cover her in paint or something, and she would just still look fantastic. What's the word I'm looking for? She would still look fantastic no matter what she's wearing or what she's doing. It's just Gal Gadot. She's one of the most beautiful women in the world, so you could put her in anything and she would still look good. From the film Maven, Snow White has been so cleansed of anything that would offend, it also lacks anything that would make it memorable. After Rachel Zegler's comments, the fact that it's cleansed of anything that would offend, you could completely understand it. They made it woke, they made it snowflake-ish, where it can't offend anybody for any reason. And from the AV Club, finally, a disorientating take on a film whose success relied on as much as its elegance as its beauty, and yet, thanks to sunny songstress Rachel Zegler, there is a talented through line still obvious amidst the mess. So he's saying that Rachel Zegler, you know, kind of is good in the film, but the film's not that good overall. But that's kind of the mixed bag there of the reviews coming out of Rotten Tomatoes there, guys. Like I say, sitting at 47%, kind of surprised based on those initial reactions. But before we finish off the video, let's go over to comicbookmovie.com and let's just have a quick read of this news before we finish off the video. So, Snow White arrives in theatres tomorrow, despite what's felt like an endless series of controversies and online backlash. I mean, talk about backlash. Wow, I can't remember the last time I saw a movie get this much flack online. It's currently eyeing an opening between 45 to 55 million in North America. Overseas, a 50 million debut looks likely for a 100 million global bow. While social media reactions were positive, like I was saying, they typically are, regardless of a movie's quality. Yeah, I'm not sure why the initial reactions to a movie on social media, they always seem to skew positive, and I'm not sure why that is. People would put their tinfoil hats on and say it's because they're paid to put out positive reviews. That could possibly be the truth. I honestly don't know. But yeah, for some reason, initial social media reactions always skew positive 9 times out of 10. And I'm kind of at a loss as to why that is. It's the reviews that count. After all, they, along with the all-important Rotten Tomatoes score, will decide whether Snow White opens closer to 45 million or 55 million. So, what are the critics saying about Snow White? As we mentioned on Toonado.com, it's always hard to say this soon into the embargo lifting, but they do appear largely mixed or negative. Some critics adored this live-action remake, while others were none too impressed with the long-delayed feature from the Amazing Spider-Man director Mark Webb. So, the majority agree that Rachel Zegler is the highlight, though with Gal Gadot also receiving some faint praise for her major villain role as the Evil Queen. It sounds like the CGI and story are somewhat lacking, though the others once again question the necessity of these adaptations of animated classics. Yeah, it's because a lot of people will say that Disney is bankrupt at this point and they have no original ideas for any original content. They're so scared to come up with new original characters and original franchises that they're just going to go back and keep sort of remaking these franchises rather than trying to come up with something new. you know, make of that what you will. But guys, you see these reactions, not reactions, sorry, you see these reviews here to Snow White. Is it something that's surprised you, caught you off guard, or is it something that you fully expected after you've seen all the marketing and everything for this movie? Did you expect it to be sitting at 47%? Or did you expect it to be higher? Did you expect it to be lower? Whatever your thoughts are about this, guys, jump into the comment section. I would love to hear your feedback on what you think about the tomato score here for this movie. Thanks so much for being here. As always, make sure you hit the like button before you leave. Consider becoming a subscriber of the channel. I would love to have you guys on board as subscribers. That would mean a lot to me. And thank you so much. I will see you guys in the next video.